This is News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
Good afternoon and welcome to Live at 4 and welcome back to our very wonderful friend Susan Simon. Hello.
Hello, stranger.
So nice to see you.
It's good to be back. It's good to be home.
How have you been doing?
I'm hanging in there.
Yeah.
I don't know who I'm kidding. I'm pretty shaky. But for those of you who may or may not know, my mom passed away in September. And after I'm sorry.
It's a tough thing.
After a battle with cancer, she had leukemia. And it was pretty rough. But honestly, I am so grateful that I was able to be with her in her final days, thanks to the love and support of everyone in this building. I have more thank yous than I could ever give back, and I know I'm not alone. You just went through this too.
Yeah.
You lost your mom recently, and you've been such a source of strength for me. I can't thank you enough for that.
Thank you.
And I just want to say to everyone, if you're going through this, if you or someone you love is having cancer and is in treatment, or if you're just grieving in general, you're not alone either. My heart goes out to you, and we have your back.
Yeah, and you've been very good to me, so it's nice to see you. I'm sorry.
Thank you, thank you. No, it's good to be back. You know, when you go through something like this, at some point, life goes on.
Yeah.
You have to move forward, and you have to get on with things, and we have an election to get through.
Yes, one more week.
So it's good to be back, and thank you everyone who reached out with your love and support. It meant the world to my dad and I, and I'll take a deep breath.
Yeah.
And on we go.
Yep, together we're in this. So
thank you.
Yeah, well, we can take a little break. Let's get a look at our first warn forecast. Meteorologist Kelly Slifka is out on the patio. How's it looking, Kelly?
Yeah, well, the weather's looking very mild the next couple of days, but we are going to have to deal with a lot of wind the next several days, pretty much all week long. And we've already had these winds coming in out of the south at about 15 to 20 miles per hour. They've been picking up throughout the afternoon hours, and they're really not going to lighten up anytime soon, so we're going to have to deal with some of these gusty winds. We do have mostly partly cloudy skies anyway, 64 degrees currently, south winds at 20 currently at the airport. So near record warm temperatures expected tomorrow and also tomorrow night. We're going to have some very mild nights headed our way, but it's coming at a cost. We're going to have some of these wind gusts up to 45 miles per hour. And it looks like later in the day, Wednesday, we are talking about some rain, and some much needed rain at that. 67 right now in Middleton yet, so hanging on to some mild temperatures. 64 at the airport in Madison, 66 in Wanakee. A few more clouds starting to roll on in as temperatures holding the low to mid 60s. I think actually our low tonight will actually occur this evening. We'll actually see temperatures rise a little bit come tomorrow morning. We'll talk more about the record warm temperatures and also some much needed rain on the way later in the week. We'll have all that coming up.
All right, Kelly, thank you so much. Boy, 8 days out now from the election. Who's counting? Candidates and campaign surrogates are making their final visits to Wisconsin in attempts to get out as many voters as possible.
U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont and U.S. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of New York will be rallying in Madison later tonight. And on Thursday, former President Bill Clinton will be in Fox Valley and Milwaukee. Right now, Governor Tim Walz is in our state. He started his day in Waukesha and will end his visit in Manitowoc. Republican vice presidential nominee J.D. Vance is also in the state. He spoke at the Wausau downtown airport earlier today and is set to speak in Racine at 5:30. Tomorrow, Trump surrogates Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and former Democratic Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard will campaign in Madison. Then former President Donald Trump himself will be in Green Bay on Wednesday with former Packers quarterback Brett Favre.
For those heading to the polls next Tuesday, walking may actually be your preferred option.
But how viable will that be for most voters? Political reporter Will Keneally crunched the numbers and has a closer look. Will?
Well, here's a map showing just how much of the city is covered by a 10-minute walk for voters to their respective polling places. And we've built an interactive version of this up online at channel3000.com. Now, this metric, how close a polling place is to voters, can be an important accessibility metric for everyone. But those with disability needs it's certainly key as well. Now, here's Lisa Hassenstab with Disability Rights Wisconsin.
Any way that we can work to, try and get the polls closer to the people, I think is really important. Transportation is a significant challenge, and so whatever we can do to, to try and make it easier for people to get to their polling place if they want to vote in person are things that we want to encourage people to focus on.
Now, she added that any changes that make it easier for disability voters to cast their ballots generally help all voters as well. And that takes into account things like closeness to the polls for voters or things like accessible touchscreens on voting machines. We'll have more on just how well Madison does on those accessibility metrics coming up tonight at 5.
We will see you at 5, Will. Thank you. Later this week, you can watch Madison officials test the city's election equipment. Wednesday morning, the clerk's office will conduct thorough testing of its vote counting technology. The goal is to build trust in the community that each eligible voter has the ability to cast their ballot and have that ballot counted. The test begins at 9 o'clock at 2713 East Washington Avenue.
Today, UW-Madison will begin removing the chairs from Memorial Union's terrace. It's that time of year. The departure of the 2,000 yellow, orange, and green chairs and 431 tables marks the end of the Union's outdoor film, music, and art entertainment series. The Union's indoor dining options remain open after the season ends, but your next chance to sit out on the iconic terrace furniture won't be until spring of next year.
It's sad when that happens.
Something to look forward to. A classic Madison restaurant is making a comeback after it retired for the past 5 years.
Babe's Grill and Bar on Madison's west side is being brought back to life. This time, it's teeing off with a new partner.
Our Meryl Hubbard gives us a look at what's on par for this returning bar.
If the name Babe's rings a bell, it's because the restaurant started in 1988 and lasted for 35 years. Now, even though it sold in 2019, Babe's is back and better with Vitense Golfland. Babe's is set to reopen on Tuesday across the street from its previous home. Joel and Sarah Whites are the owners of Vitense Golfland, a generational family business that invites the community to enjoy games from putt-putt to full swings on the green. The Whites started upgrading their bar and grill last year, but when they met Lynn Haker, their plans started to shift. Haker was the original owner of Babe's Grill and Bar, and he decided to come out of retirement to help enhance their Vitense eatery. He says he didn't realize how special Babe's was until it was gone.
When you're doing your job on a day-to-day basis, you don't really see that impact. But once it's gone, the pouring that came out was it was phenomenal. It made me really proud to be part of the neighborhood. And it's cool to be now across the street from where we were.
After a year of this family business collaboration, Babe's is back. The Whites and Haker are working to get the finishing touches done so that their first day feels like a hole in one. Babe's officially opens on Tuesday at 11 a.m. and owners tell me they hope people can be patient as they get into the swing of things. So, reporting on Madison's west side, Meryl Hubbard, News 3 Now.
And she
Nice
can golf, too.
swing. Well
Look at
done.
that. I need some lessons. Thank you, Meryl. When we come back, McDonald's has announced when its Quarter Pounders will be back on the menu.
And Donald Trump's New York homecoming sparks backlash over remarks made by one of the speakers. How the Trump campaign is now disavowing the comments made by comedian Tony Hinchcliffe.
The other side is lying to scare you. Truth is, Joan Ballweg is a champion for women's health care. She fought hard to expand health care access for postpartum moms and supports access for IVF and birth control. We're voting for Joan Ballweg because she votes for women like us.
For 52 years, they've been trying to get Roe v. Wade into the states. I did a great service in doing it.
You want to talk about this is what people wanted? Pregnant women suffering from a miscarriage being denied care in an emergency room because the healthcare providers are afraid they might go to jail, and she's bleeding out in a car in the parking lot. The freedom to make decisions about one's own body should not be made by the government.
FFPAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
Insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Kamala wouldn't change a thing? Their weakness invited wars, welfare for illegals, while Americans struggle. Now Kamala wants higher taxes on top of higher prices. We can't afford 4 more years of Kamala.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Washington is corrupt. Senator Baldwin says she fights against Wall Street, and yet she lives with a Wall Street executive and gets all this money from Wall Street. She says she's standing up to Big Pharma and Big Tech, but look at the money she rakes in from Big Pharma, Big Tech, and their executives. Senator Baldwin doesn't work for you, she works for them. I'm Eric Hovde, I approve this message. I'm not taking their special interest money. I'll only work for you.
How extreme is Todd Novak? He thinks a woman's most private medical decisions should be up to him. Todd Novak has a 100% anti-abortion rating. He supports letting politicians ban abortion with no exceptions for rape, incest, or to save a woman's life. And Todd Novak authored the law to ban abortion here in Wisconsin. Elizabeth Grabe will defend abortion rights. She knows private medical decisions are between women and their doctors.
At Gruber Law Offices, you pay us nothing until we win your case. We don't get paid until after you get paid. It costs you nothing to get the help you need after a serious accident. The call, free. The consultation, free. Our team can answer your questions and handle your concerns for free. Let our team get you the results and compensation you deserve. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
For 54 years, they were trying to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I did it.
He did it. It was pretty devastating.
He is bragging about the rights that he stole from American women. And Trump is promising to do more. In Project 2025.
They are restricting birth control,
tracking pregnant women, enforcing a nationwide abortion ban. The government should get out of my business.
Stay out of my business.
That's not the government's business.
In America, women make their own decisions.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Sarah Kieski, she supports lifting revenue limits, allowing property tax rates to skyrocket unchecked. Kieski's backers want to ban natural gas to heat our homes, driving utility bills through the roof. That's Kieski's record, expensive and extreme.
This week, McDonald's will continue selling quarter pounders across all restaurants.
This after health officials linked slivered onions from a single supplier to a deadly E. coli outbreak. One person died and 22 have been hospitalized. Most of those illnesses were in Colorado, but at least one was reported here in Wisconsin. Colorado officials tested beef patties from restaurants associated with the outbreak, and those results came back negative for E. coli. McDonald's is asking beef suppliers to produce a new supply of patties and is removing onions from restaurants that received them from that specific Colorado supplier.
In the Middle East, hostage and ceasefire negotiations are underway for the first time in 2 months, and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is already looking toward what happens the day after. Netanyahu says he'll pursue peace deals with Arab countries once his country's war with Gaza ends. Still, Israel's considering restricting the United Nations' ability to provide relief to Palestinians. And just days ago, its military conducted retaliatory strikes on Iran. Earlier today, we heard from the State Department about Israel's response.
The response from Israel was limited to military sites, which was entirely appropriate given the nature of the attack by Iran. So we do think it was a proportionate response that should not lead to further escalation by Iran, and we certainly hope that Iran will not further escalate the conflict.
Iran says it will carry out its own response to Israel's attack, but has signaled it does not want a wider war.
Friends, family, and fans of Matthew Perry are pausing to remember the late actor who passed away 1 year ago today. Perry's body was found floating face down in a hot tub at his Los Angeles area home on October 28, 2023. The autopsy reported the 54-year-old died because of acute effects of ketamine and subsequent drowning. 5 people have been charged in connection with Perry's death. They include 2 doctors, Perry's live-in personal assistant, and a person that authorities call the ketamine queen.
Officials in Pennsylvania are suing Elon Musk over his $1 million voter sweepstakes. Philadelphia's district attorney says the giveaway violates state lottery and consumer protection laws. Musk and his pro-Trump America PAC are offering $1 million giveaways to registered voters in swing states who sign a petition supporting the First and Second Amendment. Last week, a man from Eau Claire won the $1 million. No word on whether Wisconsin officials plan to take legal action.
The Republican Party says it is involved with 130 election-related cases. That includes one in Virginia, where the GOP has asked the U.S. Supreme Court to allow them to remove 1,600 people from voter rolls. Republicans say they they suspect those voters are not U.S. citizens. The party says it's involved with these cases to make sure that election workers follow the law. But critics say the party is trying to preemptively sow doubt over next week's election.
The Trump campaign is condemning remarks made at the former president's rally in Madison Square Garden yesterday. The rally included multiple right-wing speakers making controversial remarks, but the comments receiving the most attention came from comedian Tony Hinchcliffe.
I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah, I think it's called Puerto Rico.
In the hours after those comments, a series of Puerto Rican celebrities endorsed Kamala Harris, including Bad Bunny and Jennifer Lopez. Earlier today, Vice President Harris responded directly to the comedian's comments. Take a listen.
Donald Trump spends full time trying to have Americans point their finger at each other. Fans the fuel of hate and division.
We also have a statement from Forward Latino, a nonpartisan Wisconsin group advocating for Latinos. It says in part, while the campaign quickly disavowed the statement, Donald Trump's record on Puerto Rico during his presidency closely aligns with the statement. Let's get a look at your first warn forecast. Meteorologist Kelly Slifka is out on the patio. It looks like a beautiful day out there.
Yeah, not too bad. Kind of a mix of clouds and sun, and obviously mild. We've had a bit of a wind out here, but that's going to be the story all week long. Is we've got the southerly winds now, and that'll be bringing us some near record warm temperatures over the next couple of days. Overnight lows are going to be very mild. Afternoon highs could be up into the lower 80s. Coming at a cost, though, some of these wind gusts tomorrow, especially later in the day into tomorrow night, could be up to 45 miles per hour. So all these leaves are going to be blowing all over the place, that's for sure. We're looking at some rain, though, finally, to be moving in late Wednesday, maybe some beneficial rains by then. We have a warm front that's going to be pushing through, so I think our low tonight will actually occur this evening, and then we'll actually see our temperatures rise a couple of degrees by morning. We do have a little bit more cloud cover coming in as well, but this storm system kind of a slow-moving one. It will be moving through, though. It looks like later in the day, Wednesday night. 67 the high today. That's way above our average, which now is 54. The sun will be setting now at 5:54. Do have some winds, though, that'll be up there throughout tonight. In fact, these winds will be up there 15, 20 miles per hour. These are the sustained winds. We can still see some gusts up to 30 miles per hour tonight. Tomorrow, winds will continue to pick up, and I think by tomorrow evening, we'll have sustained winds of 20, 25 miles per hour tomorrow afternoon. Some of these gusts tomorrow, though, could be up to 40, 45 miles per hour. And it's not changing much on Wednesday. We're still going to see these strong southerly winds bring us some mild temperatures for Wednesday afternoon. They gradually should come down a little bit by Wednesday night. Looking at partly cloudy skies now, a little bit more cloud cover rolling in through the overnight hours. Noticing we'll get down to about 61. Those temperatures start to climb a few degrees by the morning hours tomorrow. We should get into some sunshine tomorrow. We're starting off in the 60s, mid-60s at that. Warming through the 70s throughout the day, quite a bit of sunshine. But we're expecting temperatures in the lower 80s tomorrow afternoon. So getting close to the record, which is 82 tomorrow. And even tomorrow evening, we're looking at some mild temperatures. Now, Wednesday, I think most of Wednesday will be dry, at least the daylight hours, maybe a spotty shower. Large area of rain coming at us. Very heavy rains in western parts of the state, moving into southeastern Minnesota. That moves through, and then we're expecting still some showers even into Thursday morning. That's not... your eyes aren't deceiving you. They're expecting some snow west of the Twin Cities into parts of Minnesota. First accumulating snow of the season. All right, 71 right now in the Dells, 72 in Black River Falls. Starting to see some of that warm air push into western areas of the state. We're sitting at 64 in Madison, 66 in Middleton. So it's going to be a mild, breezy night tonight. 81 expected for our Tuesday. There's that chance of showers and thunderstorms later in the day, Wednesday, mainly Wednesday night. May linger into Thursday morning, but I know we got the trick-or-treaters that'll be out. I think it should be done with by the evening hours, but we do turn quite a bit cooler as we go into the later part of the week. More chance of rain, it looks like, by the weekend.
Thank you, Kelly. Well, fall is in full swing. The leaves have changed colors. People are out at pumpkin patches, but you know, this fall hasn't really felt like fall a lot of times.
I was very surprised at how warm it is here. Pleasantly surprised, though. It's very, very nice. Our Jalen Banks is here now with the latest temperature and moisture numbers that our state is seeing. It feels like this warm weather is a gift, Jalen, at this time of the year.
Yeah,
Don't take it for granted.
It depends on how much you enjoy fall
That's
and
true.
the traditions of fall. But so far, Susan and Brady, according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration and our first warm weather team here at News 3, September was the third warmest and the sixth driest on record for the state. This is in stark contrast to what we saw earlier this year. But speaking to one UW climate expert, there's a reason why.
a lot of times, climatologically speaking, we've had storm systems come through, and they've caused relatively strong temperature drops because these storm systems are low pressure systems.
NOAA is predicting a La Nina winter, which has impacted southern Wisconsin in years past. This could mean we could see a cooler and wetter winter, again further demonstrating the drastic changes in weather we've seen in Wisconsin this year. Tonight at 5, I will have more on why we are seeing these drastic changes in our weather patterns.
What do they say? It's warm days and cool nights is what made all of the colors
Very
change.
much
But I
so.
wonder how the drought has affected that too, because you haven't had any. I've been out of state for several weeks, not a lot of rain. You know?
Yeah, once again, one of the driest Septembers we've had in a really long time. It'll be interesting to see just how dry October's been. I mean, we're pretty much at the end of the month, which is wild. Time is flying by.
Oh, boy, you're so right. I always wonder with La Nina, does that mean more snow? Are you going to talk about that at 5?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, all right. We'll see you at 5,
Sounds
too.
good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jalen. Well, coming up, Josh Sprider checks in with our friends at the Goodman Community Center.
The need for Thanksgiving baskets is at an all-time high this year. Find out how you can help when Live at 4 continues.
Insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Kamala wouldn't change a thing? Their weakness invited wars, welfare for illegals, while Americans struggle. Now Kamala wants higher taxes on top of higher prices. We can't afford 4 more years of Kamala.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
We know what Joan Ballwig wants to do. Ban abortion and birth control. That's it. That's her plan. Sarah Kieski is focused on bringing costs down, and she has real plans to lower the cost of healthcare and housing, prescription drugs, and to cut your taxes. So if you want a candidate focused on banning abortion and birth control, that's Joan Ballwig. For everyone else, there's Sarah Kieski. She's running for state senate to finally bring costs down.
For 3 years in a row, Chevy has earned more J.D. Power Initial Quality Awards than any other brand. Whether it's a high-tech SUV, the all-electric Equinox EV, or a truck for work or play, Chevy is America's most awarded brand for new vehicle quality. Or qualified lessees can get this Equinox LT for around $299 a month. See your Badgerland Chevy dealer today.
They've had 3.5 years to fix the border. Why hasn't she done it?
4 years, radical Kamala Harris created the border crisis. Thousands of accused murderers, rapists, even terrorists pour in. Each crime they commit makes American victims. Innocent victims of Kamala's open border agenda. They were bludgeoned, raped, strangled, stabbed, shot, and murdered. Kamala created the border crisis. She won't fix it now. Make America Great Again, Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
I'm sick and tired of getting ripped off by career politicians. And Tammy Baldwin, she's one of the worst. Baldwin's in bed with Wall Street. While she sleeps in her girlfriend's $1 million condo in New York City, Wisconsin families are getting hammered by high inflation and handouts for illegal immigrants. Tammy and her girlfriend are living large while Wisconsin families foot the bill. Frankly, it's time for Tammy Baldwin to go.
I'm Eric Upty, and I approve this message. Join my team and give today.
I'm Elizabeth Grabby, and this is home. Whether it was saving our family farm, starting my small business, or standing up to utility rate hikes, I've learned to solve problems by bringing people together. And right now, we have some real problems to solve. Corporations jacking up prices, and extreme politicians banning abortion. I'm Elizabeth Grabby, and together we can bring down costs and protect the right to make our own medical decisions.
What would a Trump second term look like? It's all laid out in his Project 2025 agenda. He'd let insurance companies deny coverage for pre-existing conditions, cut Social Security and Medicare, and give tax cuts to billionaires, while the middle class pays the price with lower income and higher costs. Because for Trump, it's all about getting unchecked power while you pay the price. Donald Trump, more unhinged, unstable, and unchecked.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
In the 608, we're once again sponsoring the Thanksgiving Basket Drive to help community members get what they need.
Our Josh Spreiter visited the Goodman Community Center, and he has more.
Well, we are aiming to help area families for the Thanksgiving Basket Drive once again for the 36th annual Turkey Basket Drive here at Goodman Community Center. Francesca Frisk is joining us at the food pantry. Francesca, good to see you again.
Hi, Josh.
So we're talking about the Turkey Drive again. Can't believe that we're back here. What are you guys looking for specifically this year?
So we need the community's help to raise some funds and some food so we can help out those 4,000 families that we've already signed up. Today we've got a display of the things we're asking the community to help us find. They can also make financial donations that will help fund the purchases we've already made.
And, you know, this is pretty easy as, you know, doing the physical items like this. And these are pretty easy to just be able to pick up at the store when you're out and about.
Yep, so I just picked these up on my way over this morning, but some canned veggies, cranberry sauce, gravy, mac and cheese, oil, stuffing, turkey, and broth. Those are the things that we're asking the community to help us out with.
So we're putting together those turkey baskets, and this is going to be making a difference, like you mentioned, with 4,000 families. Important to note that you guys had like a record registration window this year. They filled up very, very quickly.
Yeah, within a day of opening it up to the public, we had to shut it down because it had reached its capacity. So on the one hand, it's great, we got the word out. On the other hand, it's a little sad to know that there's so many people in our community facing food insecurity.
And is that something that you guys are seeing with the folks that you're helping here? I mean, are times that tough right now?
They are. I mean, every area food pantry is seeing higher numbers in their food pantries and kind of trying to find ways to continue to meet those needs.
So there are ways for people to help, obviously, with this turkey drive. Like you mentioned, those physical donations, financial donations as well?
Definitely. That helps us buy the things that we have coming in, like dinner rolls and butter and pumpkin pies and things like that.
And sometimes you can maybe go a little bit more bulk with those financial donations too.
Most definitely. Yeah, we can really get a good spend on our dollar.
What is our time frame? When are you looking for all of these donations by?
So people can start to plan now. We will be giving the food out the weekend before Thanksgiving. So starting November 18th, people can start to bring those items to Goodman Community Center. So we have resources on how to host a food drive and other tips and tricks for people.
And it's pretty amazing to think just how many people that you're going to impact. And I mean, just a simple meal, that's a big deal for a lot of these folks.
Yeah, it takes that stress off the family to know that they don't have to buy every last thing. You know, they probably will buy a few other things to make it their own meal, but this really takes that off. So then they just are worrying about who's sitting next to who and what kind of family arguments there might be.
Yeah, some of the like easy stuff, right?
Yeah, the typical things, but they get to make those memories together.
I love that. All right, Francesca, thank you so much for your time. Of course, News 3 Now is a proud sponsor. If you'd like to help out with the Thanksgiving Basket Drive, once again, we have everything you need to know, including those donations, financial donations, and how you can volunteer on channel3000.com. In Madison, I'm Josh Spreiter, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Josh. We live in such a giving community. Everyone wants to help.
Talk about things to be thankful for.
Yeah, exactly.
That's very, very true. We'll be right back.
You have a clear choice in this election. Senator Baldwin is a 38-year career politician. I'm a businessman and job creator. She supports taxpayer benefits for illegal immigrants. I'll close the border. Tammy wants to put guys and girls sports in their bathrooms. I'll protect our daughters. Senator Baldwin abuses the political system. I'll fight the corruption. I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message. I'd be honored to have your vote.
Get an 11% rebate on your next project at Menards, your lighting headquarters. Design a custom look with our mix and match pendant and vanity lights on sale now. Choose your fixture type, finish, and size. Then choose your shade to create a unique look that fits your style. In addition, Menards carries over 350 decorative interior lights in stock, ready to take home today. Get an 11% rebate on all Patriot lighting.
Save big money at Menards.
We know what Joan Ballwig wants to do. Ban abortion and birth control. That's it. That's her plan. Sarah Kieski is focused on bringing costs down, and she has real plans to lower the cost of healthcare and housing, prescription drugs, and to cut your taxes. So if you want a candidate focused on banning abortion and birth control, that's Joan Ballwig. For everyone else, there's Sarah Kieski. She's running for state senate to finally bring costs down.
Insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Kamala wouldn't change a thing? Their weakness invited wars, welfare for illegals, while Americans struggle. Now Kamala wants higher taxes on top of higher prices. We can't afford 4 more years of Kamala.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
In a Class 3 casino, you're playing against the house, so there's no guarantee a player has to win, ever. And in a Class 2 casino, the players play against each other, and not the house. So someone always wins.
So you're saying...
He's saying if you want to win at something, you have to go to Ho Chunk Gaming Madison, a Class 2 casino where someone has to win.
How about this then?
Ho Chunk Gaming Madison.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
Eric Hovde owns a $3 billion California bank. That's right, he owns it.
And a $7 million mansion on the beach.
Eric Hovde proposed $4 trillion in new tax breaks for rich guys just like him.
And to pay for it, Hovde would cut Social Security by 28%.
Slash Medicare 25%.
And veterans benefits 40%.
Outrageous. Now we know what's wrong with Eric Hovde. This guy is not for us.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
You're watching News 3 Now live at 4, moving forward.
We talked a little bit about this earlier, but it doesn't feel like it's almost November.
No, it doesn't. Actually, it was very nice to come back to rather than walking into that buzzsaw, where you go off the frozen cliff. Record warmth, as a matter of fact, are the weather words today. And Kelly is out on the patio. No jacket. It's nice for the last week of October.
Yeah, you know, in fact, we are looking at possibly setting some records over the next couple of days. And believe it or not, our latest 80-degree plus temperature is, well, officially tomorrow. We have the chance of getting in the low 80s tomorrow. Could be getting close to that record as well here in the Madison area. So, yeah, we've got some unseasonably warm temperatures on the way. It's coming at a cost, so we've had the southerly wind, and it's been picking up all afternoon long. It's not going to really go down even at night. Typically, you think those winds diminish in the nighttime, but that's just not going to be the case over the next couple of nights. Near record warmth expected tomorrow and also tomorrow night. However, we could see some wind gusts tomorrow. It's even be stronger winds up there 40, 45 miles per hour with sustained winds up there close to 30 miles per hour. We are looking at some rain and maybe some thunder rolling in late Wednesday into Wednesday night and possibly into Thursday morning. That'll bring an end to the warm weather that we're expecting the next few days. 64 right now in Madison, Middleton at 66, 66 in Wanakee, Fitchburg at 66 as well. A few more clouds will be rolling in tonight. You see that southerly wind currently at the airport of 20 miles per hour. Temperatures actually dropping a little bit this evening, but I think they'll pretty much hold steady, if not even rise a little bit as a warm front pushes through. We have some rain on the way, some much needed rain. We'll take a look at when we can expect it and how much we can expect coming up.
All right, Kelly, thank you so much. Now to a breaking update. Prairie du Chien police are identifying the victim and the suspect involved in a homicide over the weekend.
Police found 65-year-old Daniel Welsh dead in a home on East Wisconsin Street on Friday night. He had injuries consistent with trauma caused by a sharp object. Police later arrested a 39-year-old man Saturday afternoon. Today, they're identifying him as Jesse J. Slaughter. Police say the killing wasn't random and the two men knew each other. An investigation is ongoing.
Early voting is underway in Wisconsin, and today Madison Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway cast her ballot. After voting, the mayor talked about why Madisonians should have a plan to make their voices heard either before or on Election Day.
In Wisconsin, elections are decided by 1 or 2 votes per ward. So your vote really does matter. It could make a huge difference in the fate of our country. It could make a difference in the balance of the Senate. It could make a difference in the balance of our state legislature. And it can also make a difference in terms of what happens to the future of our city and our school district.
There is still time to do this. If you want to, early voting ends this Sunday. You can find the in-person absentee voting locations and all of the times on the City of Madison's website or on Channel 3000. $20,000 too.
Good place to find everything you need. Well, hundreds of thousands of Wisconsinites have already cast their ballots early since in-person absentee voting began last week.
But we still have over a week before those votes can be counted. They won't be counted until Election Day. So what happens to the ballots in the meantime? Our Arman Rahman shows us.
The state of Wisconsin has seen a 40% increase in people voting early in person this election season as compared to 2020, according to the Wisconsin Elections Commission. But how does that ballot go to becoming a counted vote? At polling places across the county, absentee ballots are generally put into these separate red bags. Dane County Clerk Scott McDonald says if your polling place isn't already at the town or village hall, the ballot goes on a journey to your clerk's office.
But there'll be a chain of custody of that, and then it'll be stored in a locked, secure location. But under Wisconsin law, they cannot be processed in any way or opened until Election Day. So 7 a.m., they start opening them, putting them through the machines and counting them. The names then go in the poll book. And that's been the process for a long time here.
McDonald says this year counties across the state are seeing more people vote early in person, and he expects the process to keep growing in popularity. Coming up at 6, I asked Dane County Clerk Scott McDonald about what exactly happened that led to those label printing delays on the first 2 days of early in-person voting across the state. For now, reporting in downtown Madison, Arman Rahman, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Arman. On Wall Street, the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P 500 are all up again, approaching records ahead of an important week for big tech earnings. This as oil prices tumble in the wake of Israel's attack on Iran.
As the need for housing in Madison continues to grow, local developers are eyeing up some empty lots, old and new.
Our Maddie Heimsch brings us to one development site with a long Madison history.
More than 130 acres of family farmland here on Madison's west side have been leveled. The city of Madison set to use what was the Marty family's property for housing, parks, and stormwater infrastructure. Ron Marty worked on his parents' farm for years and still lives next door to the land, trading the backyard sounds of cattle and livestock with that of cranes and excavators. He says the shift has been a long time coming.
No, it's just that it's been a family farm for a long time, and it's very bittersweet, you know, but we knew it was inevitable that this was going to happen, so it was just the timing was right.
The Marty family gave up their cows and subsequently their business back in 2009, but held on to the land until this past summer. Now it'll be the city operating a business alongside Viridian Homes. The plans include 6 buildings with more than 200 apartment units, as well as a new subdivision lined with more than 150 single-family homes. Reporting on Madison's west side, I'm Maddie Heimsch, News 3 Now.
Maddie, thank you. Still ahead tonight at 4, Arman Rahman goes behind the wheel with our Harvey Briggs.
A look at whether one top-shelf vehicle is worth it when we come back.
Quartz takes a different approach to health insurance. We know every life well lived is a journey, and we're here to light the way at every step. That's why for 40 years, we've been alongside the doctors and hospitals who know what their communities need. Because they're a part of them. Because we're a part of them. There's a fire burning in all of us. Let's ignite it together. Quartz. Find your spark.
Discover a level of comfort you never thought possible. Discover stressless seating at the Century House. Designed to harmonize with your body's natural movements, it's the premier destination for relaxation and rejuvenation. Right now, take 10% off all stressless recliners, sofas, tables, and ottomans. The Century House, 3420 University Avenue in Madison.
After careful review of medical guidance and research on pain relief, my recommendation is simple. Every home should have Salon Paws. Powerful, yet non-addictive. Targeted and long-lasting. I recommend Salon Paws. It's good medicine.
He sent me to
patio doors, patio doors. Scott the window guy can do patio doors. Scott the window guy can do patio doors.
We do patio doors at scottthewindowguy.com.
Donald Trump intends to give tax breaks to billionaires and big corporations, to cut Social Security and Medicare, to impose what is in effect a national sales tax. When I am president, I will bring down the cost of groceries, My tax plan will give 100 million more Americans a tax cut, and unlike Donald Trump, I will always put the middle class and working families first.
FFPAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
National Democrats have been a disaster. Higher prices, open borders, making our communities less safe. They can't run on their record, so they try to distract you by lying about abortion.
Here's the truth. I oppose a national abortion ban. Early in a pregnancy, women should have the right to decide. We should allow for exceptions. And finally, the people of Wisconsin need to decide this issue, not politicians in Washington.
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message.
When it comes to your critical medical decisions, you should have the final say. But extreme politician Joan Ballweg says you're wrong. She supports criminalizing abortion even after rape and incest. Or to save the life of the mother, Ballweg would jail doctors for giving life-saving care. And Ballweg even wrote the law that could deny women access to birth control. Joan Ballweg would put extreme politicians in charge of your body and put all Wisconsin women in danger.
New at 5, News 3 Now did an analysis on how accessible your polling location is to you. We'll share the results.
It is going to be incredibly unseasonably mild tomorrow, and it also will be very windy. We'll have more details in the forecast at 5.
I just said it's been a family farm for a long time, and it's very bittersweet.
And ahead at 6, a family farm paves the way for Madison's growth. Hear their story behind a difficult decision tonight at 6.
Well, when you hear the phrase top shelf, it usually means drinks or cocktails, but it may also rely on cars. It relates to cars as well.
Yeah, we're talking about the new Lincoln Aviator.
Oh, it's the small one.
Yes, just a little one.
Yeah. Smaller, but not that much smaller. I got a chance to check out that beast and go behind the wheel with Harvey Briggs.
I forgot to have this. Play this for you. Well, welcome to the world of Lincoln.
Yeah, I feel underdressed.
I know. This is a pretty luxurious car that we're in right now. So this is a 2025 Lincoln Aviator Black Label.
Black Label? I know that means top shelf.
That is top shelf when it comes to the Lincoln brand. That is their highest trim level. And more than just a trim level, it's also a whole service level. So if you buy a car through their Black Label program, you get assigned a concierge. They will pick up and deliver your car for you whenever they service it. And if it's going to be away for a while, they give you a free loaner car. And they also have other perks available if you're going to spend at this level, because they like to create almost like a club.
You pay for that eliteness, I guess, with this car.
Well, yeah, with this one, this car right as it sits is $97,150. I think the base price for the Aviator is around $58,000. This has a 28-speaker Revel Ultima audio system in it, and it has a number of different modes to it as well. So you can put it in concert mode, and it creates a sound that makes it feel as if you're in a large concert venue. It almost feels like you're sitting in the middle of the band with all the instruments around you. They use technology to separate those sounds and create a 3D experience for you. So you can get into we're in the on-stage mode.
Yeah.
And if you listen and you really concentrate, you can hear different instruments at different places. Now, if I go to audience mode, it puts the music more in front of you.
Yeah.
And then you go to stereo mode, and now it's just traditional automotive stereo. Every seat feels like that because they have 28 speakers positioned around the cabin, so they've optimized it for every seat as well. Wow. Pretty cool. This is just a really smooth, capable car that's great for families and great for an individual who might want to have a little extra space. This is that mid-size 3-row SUV, which is a really popular category. You can seat up to 6 in this one. I'm not sure it's going to completely pass the Harvey test. So let's see. If we do this, Actually, I could survive back here for half an hour.
Half an hour max, right?
That's it.
My seats are so customizable.
Exactly. These are the 30-way perfect position, they call them, seats. And they adjust in 30 different ways, which means it might take you a while to get them right, but once you get them right, they're phenomenal. They're also heated, cooled, and massaging. So if you're riding along and you need to give yourself a little treat, you just go ahead and hit the massage button there, and my back feels better already.
Ooh, it feels like a spa treatment. Yeah, I sat back in my own car seats, and I'm like, I'm not getting a massage. What happened?
What's going on? I know. You get spoiled really quickly when you get to drive vehicles like this a lot. So, no, it was great.
That's a beautiful car.
Yeah, I think they've done a great job with the design of the Aviator, and they've really differentiated it from the BMW X5, the Mercedes GLE. They all are, very nice cars, but they all have a slightly different position in the marketplace where, the Lincoln is all about smooth and comfort. BMW, a little more performance. Mercedes, it really relies on technology. So you have a lot of different options in the category, and a lot of different ways to spend almost $100,000 on a car.
Need a dress code to get in there. Top hat and tails.
I think so. Maybe I should charge a cover next time.
Yeah, you could drive Armand to the Emmys in the Black Label.
Very fancy.
Well, it really does kind of replace the Continental as almost their town car. Right. It really is a vehicle that people use for taking people to events, things like that.
It's fun for us to be in those dream cars, isn't it?
Really, it'll be only a dream for me, probably.
Me too. Yeah. All right, Harvey, thank you. Great to see you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, we'll be right back.
During COVID, Joan Ballwig took $500,000 in federal loans she never paid back. Then voted to block assistance to help other Wisconsin businesses grow. Joan Ballwig, out for herself, not you.
Insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Kamala wouldn't change a thing? Their weakness invited wars, welfare for illegals, while Americans struggle. Now Kamala wants higher taxes on top of higher prices. We can't afford 4 more years of Kamala.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Growing up here in southeast Wisconsin, hard work and getting things done are in Brian Stiles' DNA. It's why Stiles is recognized as a problem solver in Congress. He's fighting for Wisconsin families every day, combating high prices at the grocery store and gas pump. And Brian Stiles is protecting Social Security and Medicare because you've earned it. Brian Stiles, getting it done for southeast Wisconsin. Fair Shake is responsible for the content of this ad.
I'm sick and tired of getting ripped off by career politicians. And Tammy Baldwin, she's one of the worst. Baldwin's in bed with Wall Street. While she sleeps in her girlfriend's $1 million condo in New York City, Wisconsin families are getting hammered by high inflation and handouts for illegal immigrants. Tammy and her girlfriend are living large while Wisconsin families foot the bill. Frankly, it's time for Tammy Baldwin to go.
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message. Join my team and give today.
I'm Elizabeth Grabby, and this is home. Whether it was saving our family farm, starting my small business, or standing up to utility rate hikes, I've learned to solve problems by bringing people together. And right now, we have some real problems to solve. Corporations jacking up prices, and extreme politicians banning abortion. I'm Elizabeth Grabby, and together we can bring down costs and protect the right to make our own medical decisions.
With high inflation, working families like mine are hurting, and Kamala Harris helped create this mess. Now, while Americans struggle, Kamala spent our tax dollars putting illegal immigrants up in hotel rooms, and she supported spending our tax dollars to give illegals sex changes. It's not just liberal, it's insane. Kamala Harris can never, ever be our president.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Nobody wants to put a new roof over their head. It's too expensive. And if they can extend the life of that roof and get 5 more years or 10 more years, it's a no-brainer.
What RoofMax does
is it helps people in that they don't have to spend that $15,000, $20,000 on a new roof. They can spend pennies on the dollar.
The Roof Max product was a small percentage of cost of replacing a roof.
This is a great financial decision for us as a community.
This is China, and this is Wisconsin. Joan Ballweg invested thousands of dollars in Chinese companies, but voted against using state funds to help grow companies here in Wisconsin. Joan Ballweg, out for herself, not you.
Good afternoon, and meteorologist Kelly Slifka out on the patio. It's a fairly mild Monday, and we're going to continue to see these warm temperatures and also a lot of wind. That's going to be the story much of this week, and then eventually some much-needed rain. Take a look at our records. I mentioned this at 4:30 that the latest 80-degree temperature ever in Madison did occur on October 29th, which is tomorrow. So that's that record, 82. 81 is what we're forecasting, and 77 on Wednesday, very close to that record, which was set back in 1971. Well, some beautiful photos with all the colors on the trees. Unfortunately, these winds that we're going to have, well, they'll be hanging on for dear life over the next couple of days because we've got a strong storm system that's developing off to the west. The warm front should be pushing through a little bit later on this evening, and I think our low temperature tonight will actually occur within the next couple of hours, and we'll actually see temperatures rise. We're going to have to deal with these winds out of the south all night long at 15, 20 miles per hour. Tomorrow, they'll be even stronger. Sustained winds, these are what the sustained winds are, 20 to 30 miles per hour. Could see some gusts to 40, 45 miles per hour. And they'll be with us not only tomorrow, but right through tomorrow night, right through Wednesday. So counting on a lot of wind, blowing a lot of these leaves around. We are looking at quiet weather, a little bit more cloud cover tonight. And we should get back into some sunshine tomorrow. And that will really push our temperatures up into the lower 80s, it looks like, tomorrow afternoon. So some unseasonably warm weather. I think most of Wednesday dry, but as we go through Wednesday night, a big swath of rain starts to move on through. Can't rule out some thunderstorms, and yes, even some snow on the backside of the storm in parts of Minnesota. We're looking at some decent rainfall totals, maybe as much as 2 to 3 inches near the Wisconsin, Iowa, Minnesota border there. I think in Madison, we could be talking about an inch of rain. 64 right now in Madison, 68 in Lone Rock, 64 in Janesville. So 81 tomorrow, windy day. The winds continue Wednesday with that chance of rain, mainly in the late afternoon or evening. Rain chances diminish Thursday morning. Then turns cooler for Halloween. Another chance of rain for the weekend.
Meet Sarah Kieski. You might see her walking around in her Woke Genius t-shirt. Radical, just like the groups that support her. Kieski supporters want to defund the police. Her allies want to give voting rights to illegals and make it easier for felons to vote. And Kieski is backed by a group that wants to let criminals out early. Want to know where Sarah Kieski stands? Just look at the company she keeps.
Here's the secret worth sharing. Robertson, Wisconsin's aesthetic leader, has nurses that specialize in custom treatment plans. Always natural, never overfilled. Time to learn how aging is different at Robertson.
You have a clear choice in this election. Senator Baldwin is a 38-year career politician. I'm a businessman and job creator. She supports taxpayer benefits for illegal immigrants. I'll close the border. Tammy wants to put guys and girls sports in their bathrooms. I'll protect our daughters. Senator Baldwin abuses the political system. I'll fight the corruption. I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message. I'd be honored to have your vote.
We count on gasoline to power our cars, our tractors, our way of life. So why is a city slicker from Miami, Elizabeth Groppe, okay banning gas-powered vehicles? Extremists like Groppe want to eliminate fossil fuels, robbing hard-working families, farmers, and small businesses of their vehicles. Miami Liz's radical ideas hurt our families and our main streets. Don't let Groppe get away with it. Born and raised right here. Todd Novak is our independent voice for common sense, protecting our way of life.
For 54 years, they were trying to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I did it.
He did it. It was pretty devastating.
He is bragging about the rights that he stole from American women. And Trump is promising to do more. In Project 2025.
They are restricting birth control,
tracking pregnant women, enforcing a nationwide abortion ban. The government should get out of my business.
Stay out of my business.
That's not the government's business.
In America, women make their own decisions.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message. Donald Donald Trump intends to give tax breaks to billionaires and big corporations, to cut Social Security and Medicare, to impose what is in effect a national sales tax. When I am president, I will bring down the cost of groceries. My tax plan will give 100 million more Americans a tax cut. And unlike Donald Trump, I will always put the middle class and working families first.
FFPAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
Oh, take a look at this. A UK zoo is asking for the public's help in identifying this, look at it, this mysterious creature captured on a trail camera. The bizarre creature reportedly has both wings and horns. That doesn't sound good.
Looks a little bit like Eric's dog, doesn't it, Eric? That might be Tate.
Oh, there we go. Mystery solved. Yes. Susan solved it. We'll be right back.
I'm Joan Balwig, and I'm here to set the record straight. I support birth control, the life and health of mothers, extending postpartum care, and fertility treatments, including IVF. I'm Joan Balwig. I have always fought for Wisconsin moms, and I always will.
Insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Kamala wouldn't change a thing? Their weakness invited wars, welfare for illegals, while Americans struggle. Now Kamala wants higher taxes on top of higher prices. We can't afford 4 more years of Kamala.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message. They've had 3.5 years to fix the border. Why hasn't she done it?
4 years, radical Kamala Harris created the border crisis. Thousands of accused murderers, rapists, even terrorists pour in. Each crime they commit makes American victims. Innocent victims of Kamala's open border agenda. They were bludgeoned, raped, strangled, stabbed, shot, and murdered. Kamala created the border crisis. She won't fix it now. Make America Great Again, Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Washington is corrupt. Senator Baldwin says she fights against Wall Street, and yet she lives with a Wall Street executive and gets all this money from Wall Street. She says she's standing up to Big Pharma and Big Tech, but look at the money she rakes in from Big Pharma, Big Tech, and their executives. Senator Baldwin doesn't work for you, she works for them. I'm Eric Hovde, I approve this message. I'm not taking their special interest money, I'll only work for you.
California banker Eric Hovde has a plan that helps him and hurts you.
Here's the math. Hovde proposed $4 trillion in new tax cuts for rich people like him.
And we pay for Hovde's tax breaks with a 28% cut to Social Security and a 25% cut to Medicare.
Hovde even said he would raise the retirement age.
You have to start changing the retirement age.
Eric Hovde still helping himself and hurting you.
Win Senate is responsible for the content of this ad.
This election is a choice between 2 very different visions for America. I will take on price gouging to bring down grocery prices. I will lower the cost of health care insurance. Donald Trump, well, he wants to give more tax breaks to the wealthy. I will cut taxes for the middle class instead. You may not always agree with me, but I promise I will do everything I can to lift up the middle class and be a president